What is up, everyone? And no, I'm still not over the US not qualifying for the World Cup, and I probably won't be for a very long time. So don't get me all wound up again in the comments. Unless you want me to be manager of the US, then that's totally cool. Also, do you guys remember in my Arsenal career mode where FIFA 17 said that the US wasn't gonna qualify for the World Cup, and I lost my mind because I was like, what? What are they smoking? But they were right. And how the f did they know that? I don't know. Anyway, after what feels like ages, supporting your country is over and supporting your club is back with an action-packed weekend, and we're gonna start with Liverpool versus Manchester United. Because the two most successful clubs in English history are locking horns. Now, while United have started the league season in superb form, winning 6 games and drawing 1, all 7 of their opponents so far are in the bottom half of the table. So if you add this fun fact in, with the fun fact that manager Klopp has a very, very good record against the top 6 clubs since joining Liverpool. He's won 9, drawn 9, and only lost 2 since he took over for Brendan Rodgers, Mr. Teeth. Liverpool, who are playing at home, might have a good chance to get all 3 points here, especially if you factor in that Chelsea, as a contrast, have the second best record against the top 6 since Klopp's been in England, winning 7, drawing 7, and losing 7. So when you look at those two right next to each other, it means that Klopp has a special gift for getting results in big games. However, with newly named Ballon d'Or candidate Sadio Mane getting hurt during the international break, and Coutinho and Bobby Firmino flying all the way back from Brazil, and Mohamed Salah coming off the incredible high of helping his country qualify for the World Cup for the first time in 28 years, and that must be a nice feeling. This might be a great time for United to come steal all 3 points. And I think they're gonna do it, and they're gonna do it in a very Jose Mourinho way, 1-0. And up next, it's Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona. And what if I told you this game wasn't as competitive as you thought? What if I told you that this fixture has been pretty much one-sided over the last decade, and that the last time Atleti beat Barcelona in the league was back in 2010 in a 2-1 victory at the Vicente Calderón Stadium? Would you believe me? Maybe you won't. Maybe you will. I don't know. However, since then, both teams have faced each other 24 times, with Atleti winning only twice, but both of those wins were in the Champions League. They drew 7 times, and they lost 15 overall to Barca. In fact, Barcelona have won 6 out of their last 7 visits at Atleti, but Barca is notorious for being terrible after international breaks. So, despite Leo Messi coming into this one red hot after scoring an incredible hat-trick to help Argentina qualify for the World Cup, and that must be a special feeling, I tip Atleti to win their first league game over Barca in 7 years, 2-1 in their new stadium. And next up, it's Borussia Dortmund versus RB Leipzig. In the biggest game of the Bundesliga this weekend, high-flying Dortmund hosts last season's fairy tale team RB Leipzig, who, credit to them, have had a very good beginning to their season. But Dortmund are currently having their best league start in the team's history with 6 wins and a draw out of 7, and they are unbeaten in their last 41 league games at home. So I don't care if Leipzig's Timo Werner is back from injury after missing the last 3 games for club and country, with current Bundesliga scoring leader and recent Ballon d'Or nominee Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang leading the front lines, along with what I hope will be a very angry Christian Pulisic taking out his frustration on whomever he's playing against. I think Dortmund comfortably win this one 3-1. And now let's head to Italy for Juventus versus Lazio, Roma versus Napoli, and AC Milan versus Inter Milan. Because 6 of the top 7 teams in Serie A are facing each other this weekend, so I'm sure my boys at IFTV are jizzing all over themselves. Also, you should subscribe to their channel if you're into Serie A, because they really know their stuff, and I always learn a lot when I watch them. Anyway, about these games, with Lazio beating Juve 3-2 in the Italian Super Cup in the first competitive game of the season, I don't think Lazio is going to have any fear going into this one and coming home with a result, because they are on the road. And keep in mind that Lazio just crushed the Swallows 6-1 in their last outing, while Juve gave up a 2-goal lead to tie 2-2 with Atalanta. So I think Lazio is going to earn a hard-fought draw on this one and another 2-2 result for Juve. And then in the we almost snatched the title from Juventus derby, Roma welcomed one of Europe's deadliest attacks because Napoli have scored 3 or more goals in a league game for 11 games in a row. What? That is a run stretching back to April of last season when they only beat Inter Milan 1-0 at the San Siro, which is an incredible stat. It's crazy. But when you consider the talent of their attack that has Cayón and Mertens and Insigne, it has to be considered one of the most talented in Europe, besides maybe Neymar and Cavani and Mbappe. So I don't think Roma is going to stand much of a chance unless Napoli rests 1 or 2 or 3 of their regulars so they can be ready for their midweek trip to England to face Manchester City in the Champions League. Though, if I look at that schedule, Roma have to do the same thing when they face Chelsea. So never mind, that argument is not going to stand up. And anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. Napoli's going to win this one again, but they're only going to score 2 this time. 2-1. Yes, I said 2-1. Deal with it. And finally in Italy, it's the Milan derby. And the beauty about derbies is how hard it is to predict what's going to happen, because it really doesn't matter like where they stand in the standings. But with AC Milan having won just 2 league games against Inter since 2011, and with Inter being low-key excellent this season under new manager Luciano Spalletti in really every facet of the game, I think this match is only going one way, despite the fact that Milan have spent a gajillion dollars on players and have won 10 of their 13 games in all competitions this season, because I don't think their manager Vincenzo Montella is the right guy for the job. I really don't. I think it's too big for him. I don't know. So here's my prediction. Inter wins, Montella is fired, and Carlo Ancelotti comes back to take over. That's right. You heard it here first. Also, here's some other games I'll be keeping my eyes on this weekend. Like Lyon versus Monaco, because Lyon blew a 3-1 lead to Angers in their last game, and they need to totally redeem themselves, which they should do since they're undefeated at home this season. But Monaco is Monaco, and Monaco scores goals, lots of them. So maybe they won't redeem themselves, or maybe they will. I don't know. That's why I want to watch. And then there's not so super Bayern Munich hosting Freiburg, which is worth watching just because they rehired the manager that helped them win a treble before Pep Guardiola took over, and his name is Jupp Heynckes, and he's 72 years old, and this is his 4th spell in charge of the club, which has to be some kind of record. So I can't wait to see how the players respond to him being back. And then in Mexico, the most en fuego game has to be León versus Tigres, because I want to see the current leading scorer in Liga MX, León's Mauro Boselli, lead his 5th place club against the most talented team in all of Mexico, Tigres, who I believe aren't trying as hard as they should, which is why they're in 4th. But they've only lost 1 game all season. So anyway, this should be a good game. It's León versus Tigres. Lions versus Tigers. And then finally in MLS, there are only 2 games left in the regular season, so all of the games are incredibly big, especially for the 3 teams in the West that are battling it out for the last playoff spot. I'm talking FC Dallas, who have 43 points, and Real Salt Lake and the San Jose Earthquakes, who both have 42. All 3 of those teams play on the road, so we'll see how they do. But the game I want to focus on is a big rivalry game between the best team in the whole entire league, Toronto FC, and a team that is only playing for pride because the playoffs aren't possible. It's the Impact of Montreal. So this is where I throw it to my expert on all things Canada, Adrian from Rabona TV.
Let's start this with a history lesson, as despite my Montreal Impact being trash this season, form goes out the window when these two meet, as in the last 6 matches. Montreal has won 3, lost 2, and drew 1. However, the record is a terrible 1 win and 5 losses in their last 6 matches, scoring 6 and conceding 12. Toronto hit a rough patch in September, losing to the Revs and taking a heavy L against MTL, but bounced back to beat the Red Bulls in their last match, and still have a 9-point lead over NYCFC with a commanding plus 36 goal difference to boot. Couple that with the fact that Bradley and Altidore are returning to the squad embarrassed with a point to prove after that World Cup fail, and this could be a smack-up job on Montreal with a 4-2 win and extending their lead to 29 points over their non-competitive rivals.
Alright, that is it. That is all I got. So be on the lookout for a new Career Mode episode dropping very soon, and if you want to win a Warm Ballers shirt and some stickers, predict the right score for Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona, and you'll be entered to win. Also, if you've won in the past but haven't heard from me, it's because I don't know how to get a hold of you. So email we@warmballers.com. That's right, we@warmballers.com, or hit me up on Twitter or drop me a message on YouTube. Any of those 3 things should work. All right, have a good weekend. Later.